If you wondered how to enter UM Law, we are here to answer your questions. Here are some videos from law students in UM to answer your questions.
Hi, I'm Abbas Abdul Rahman. I'm a second year, I'm in my second semester. I'm in Universiti Malaya, and prior to my degree in law, I took Diploma in UiTM.
My name is Chelsea Ho, a third-year undergraduate at the Faculty of Law, Universiti Malaya. Prior to Universiti Malaya, I completed A-levels at the Methodist College, Kuala Lumpur.
Hi, my name is Najwa Mysarah. I'm currently a first-year student in Universiti Malaya and I'm studying law. I'm from Putrajaya, and before I entered into I did my pre-foundation in UiTM Jengkil and I got 4.0 for my final A foundation years.
My name is Kavinesh Krishnan. I'm 20 years old and I'm a first year student in University of Malaya, and I did my foundation in law in Breakfast Asia College, BAC, and by God's blessing I got a CGPA of 3.87.
Hi, I'm Layani and I'm currently a year 2 law student in the Faculty of Law, University Malaya, and I'm actually coming in from direct intake or step 2 intake, and I've previously done my A-levels in Taylor's College, and my results for my A-levels is A** AA.
Hi, my name is Ko Shermin. I'm currently in my second year of law school, and prior to studying law, I did my pre-university studies in Perlis Matriculation College.
My name is Justin Chen. I'm a final year law student from the University of Malaya. So prior entering into UM, I did STPM at SMKK Zuari Surabaya Kedah, and I passed STPM with CGPA 4.0. Besides that, I was also humbled and honored to receive the Anugerah Pelajar Terbaik STPM 2018 because my result was ranked top 10 in Malaysia.
So I took physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics. One thing that I feel is very different now that I am reading law is that law is not as straightforward as science subjects are. Oftentimes, lecturers will tell you that there is no clear-cut right or wrong answer to a particular question. It very much depends on the facet and perspective that you take in viewing an issue, and this is exactly what makes law interesting for me. I wouldn't say that my previous studies necessarily helped me with coping in law school, but my exposure to the legal practice did. Upon completing A-levels, I actually took a gap year and worked as a paralegal at a law firm for more than a year, and it was to navigate my passion for the law, and what ensued from there was my journey in law. I would say that this prior exposure enabled me to get a basic understanding of contract law and land law. In particular, I remember studying a contract law textbook that my previous employer, the partner of the firm, lent me, and he would check up on my progress from time to time for a pop quiz, which never actually happened. Thinking back, I really have them to thank for making my experience there a memorable and joyous one, as I believe it was from there that my passion for the law was built.
So how many subjects does one have to take, and how many semesters are there?
Overall, there's 6 to 7 subjects you have to take every semester. So in total, you would have a maximum of 21 credit hours per semester. So there's 5 semesters altogether. And as for my case, when I had Diploma last time, law subjects are only introduced in third semester onwards.
So what subjects did you take?
So unlike UM, which offers Calf and Chi courses, UiTM Diploma in UiTM provides compulsory subjects or courses that you have to take depending on what major you're in. So, but briefly, some of the subjects I had was, for the law subjects, we had MLS, Malaysian Legal System, Administrative Law, Business Law, and for the non-legal subjects, we have Public Administration, Political Science, Human Rights in Southeast Asia, Government and Politics, Malaysian Politics, Sustainable Development and Industrial Relations.
The subjects that I took almost 13 subjects in my foundation in law. It goes with contract law, criminal law, tort law, and English legal system, and sort of many other things. Yes, it really did help me in my first year studies. Because why? When I enter, let's say when I go to the lecture hall, like the first few months, I wasn't blank. So I had like the basic foundation. Studying, for example, I had the basics of what the subject would be. So like when I entered the class, it's not like I didn't see it as like a whole picture. It wasn't too complex for me. Like I could differentiate. I already had a basic, so even when in the degree level it's going too detailed, since having the basic, so it's easier for me to cope up with the flow.
So I actually did 4 subjective E-levels. Firstly is law, secondly mathematics, economics, and psychology. So for law, it's actually English law. So although there are some similarities between English and Malaysian law, however, most of it we still have to learn it as one concept, and so yeah, it helps in some way. And for mathematics and economics, I think it mainly shapes the way of thinking. And I also realized that there are quite a lot of science stream students doing law, and I believe that it's a way of thinking that makes us who we are. And lastly, psychology. It is similar in a way where you actually study a lot of case studies in psychology, and the main difference is only that in psychology there's more like theories and numbers and so on, and law is mainly words.
Yes, basically I took 4 subjects, which are general studies, business, economics, and history in my STPM. Among all these subjects, the compulsory subjects, general studies, which is the pengajar arm, helped me the most in coping with law school. The basic legal principle taught in the pengajar class, such as the general principle in federal constitution, national policies, and the government systems, does not only help me to open the door of Malaysian legal system, but they also help me to cope with law school more quickly and easily than the others.
The subjects that I took when I was in matriculation college were accounting, business, economics, mathematics, and also English. It didn't really help me much in my studies when I am doing law. However, the program was an intensive, short one. Therefore, I only took 1 year to complete my pre-university studies.
Quite frankly, A-levels was a breeze for me. Perhaps it was the intensive curriculum that my high school prepared me for. A-levels was comparatively plain sailing, as I only had to focus on 4 subjects rather than 12. And all, if not most of the topics, I had already been introduced to by courtesy of my high school teachers who went out of their way to teach us extra advanced concepts that were beyond SPM syllabus, particularly for the UAC candidates as I come from a Chinese independent high school.
My experience in SSC is pretty much very unforgettable. I would say friends there are very helpful even though we go fully online, but my knowledge from foundational year can be used in the UM degree. At least you know its and bits on what are you basically entering yourself into. This foundational knowledge also gave me a lot of help in preparing for the interview, since the interview is basically based on our foundational knowledge. But do not fret, even though you are not from foundational law, you can still answer the question, I would say, very smoothly.
My experience in foundation, I would say it's both good and bad. Why I say it's bad? Because my first time was fully online, so it was very difficult for me to adapt to the situation and stuff. But then the institute that I studied, they really made me feel comfortable by giving us the space and time for us to adapt to the situation. And why good is because since Sem 2 onwards, they gave us a choice of going back to face-to-face or stay in online. But obviously I chose to go face-to-face. Ever since I go face-to-face, it was very interactive. So I had my social life increased and I had more fun in university, and I get to experience the uni life. That was my first time experiencing. And yeah, I would say that it's both. It's like a roller coaster. I had good and bad, but I would say there's more good compared to bad in my foundation era.
Oh, it was generally fine because honestly I didn't get into matriculations. That's why the only way that for me to get into UM Law is through STPM. So I worked very hard in order to get into UM Law.
My overall experience there was a good one. I was the student representative there, and this experience really helped me to boost my self-confidence and enhance my interpersonal skills.
Actually, I did not know at the time of applying to UM Law law that there would only be a handful of A-level graduates here. I would therefore consider myself lucky and would definitely ask those who wish to enter Law with A-levels to weigh these in. Perhaps a piece of advice would be to ensure that you stand out amongst other A-level applicants, both in terms of your resume as well as during the selection interview.
I would like to recommend you, if you want to go into fast track into your degree, you should try foundation in law. It's not a program that you can procrastinate a lot, but I assure you that once you have the determinations and the discipline, you will get flying colours and you'll unfortunately enter into your degree.
Obviously, along the journey, as I mentioned earlier, I was presented with several law subjects which became the foundation of what I've been introduced to during my first semester in law school to sort of kickstart my journey here. So, and to add, the law subjects provided are sort of very introductory in nature. Things like what is the law, how is it imposed, how is it established, just the surface only. So in Diploma, for example, we had business law. And in business law, we did touch and cover a little on contract, offer, acceptance, just the surface, just the tip of the iceberg. And it's not as lengthy and comprehensive as what the foundation kids learn. So I would say Diploma did prepare me and equip me with some legal knowledge good enough to sort of kickstart my journey here in law school.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like with the great exposure of the direct intake, I think it's a green light for students. If they didn't get what they wanted, like example for matriculation, STPM, if they didn't get that sort of way. So I think a foundation is a very good way, since because it's short period, it's just a year I think, and it's manageable, it's not too complex, it's easier for students to understand. So I think yeah, they should take foundation if that's their chance. I think they should go for it.
As we all know, when we come into through Statu or direct intake, you will most definitely be prepared to pay more already. However, you don't have to worry that your students or the lecturers actually treat you differently because you come into direct intake. Yeah, they won't think that you are actually worse than them or better than them, you're just another law student. And so you have the same experience and you have the same resources from the lecturers, through the libraries, from your friends and so on. So yeah, hopefully that you will be able to have a nice and enjoyable law experience.
Yes, definitely. Of course, although STPM may be relatively harder and the durations may be relatively longer than the other PU systems, it's worth it in the sense that it trains students to familiarize themselves with reading with a lot of materials and coping with stress while having a hectic schedule. Besides that, subjects such as history and general studies, they briefly introduce students about the nation legal systems, and from there students will know whether to do law is their cup of tea.
I would definitely recommend a junior who wants to do law in to opt for matriculation college, simply because the duration is quite short, only 1 year, and the subjects offered are not too burdensome. However, I have two advice for you. Number one, try to be as active as possible when you're in matriculation college in terms of the extracurricular activities, because it will definitely help to enhance your social skill and also your problem solving skill. And secondly, try your best to do well in MUET, improve your writing and oral skill.
I applied to Law through the UPU channel and the Satu channel as a fail-safe, but was accepted through UPU.
My overall experience in applying into Law is very unforgettable one. They are very, very helpful in ways that they experience in interview. It doesn't feel like an interview at all, I would say. It feels like more to a discussion instead of interview. I would like to emphasize that I was very excited in answering questions in regards to 3-minute lawyers, because it basically gives me that kind of freedom to just ramble on whatever knowledge that I have.
Alright, then firstly you would have to comply with the academic requirements. So generally for a diploma graduate like me, so first is your CGPA would be 3.8 and above, but it changes every now and then, so you have to bear that in mind depending on the intake requirements. Secondly, your MUET has to be of band 4 and above, and your credits, you need credits for all major subjects in high school, subjects like English, Bahasa Malaysia, Maths, Sejarah, and that is for the general academic requirements for diploma graduate. Beyond that, you also have to pass the interview, and that's the requirement for a diploma graduate to transition themselves, to enroll themselves into Law School. So how to apply? There's two ways generally. One is through the UPU. You get your PIN number at BSN, and then you apply. You wait for the next intake, then you apply, and you wait for your results, and then you wait for the interview. And if you pass it, you got through, and that's it. And the other way would be through Universiti Malaya Open Channel, Open Channel. It's a direct application, but with higher fees. So you are allowed to apply for both through UPU and Open Channel. But the only thing that differentiate those two are the fees, I guess.
The general process is through direct intake in the Maya website. The credits all goes to my mom because I didn't have a single idea on the direct intake, whether it existed or not. But my mom was the one, she did the research and said that yes, direct intake does exist, and she's the one who made me apply.
I applied to Law via the UPU website, and Law was my first choice in my UPU list.
Well, similar to the others, I applied to Law through the UPU systems. Basically, we are required to fill in 5 to 12 choices based on our preference. And Law is my first choice, obviously, and I'm beyond grateful to be admitted by one of the best law schools in Malaysia.
So when I chose A-levels, it was actually because between the choice of matrix, STPM, A-levels and so on, A-levels is actually a much wider choice than other matriculations or STPM. So it's actually recognized worldwide, and it's actually one of the most prestigious examinations that we have. So with A-levels, you can also enter and it's not necessarily through the governmental pathway. And so through A-levels, you can also enter it through UPU, but your chances might be slimmer. But with A-level itself, you can actually have a wider pathway compared to the other PU courses. A Chinese independent school student, we actually know that taking A-levels, entering into national universities, it's much harder than getting a matrix or STPM. However, and so when I applied for UPU, I already had the preparation that getting in is not that easy. And so after the UPU results are released, I immediately applied for the direct intake or the SATU intake. And lucky for me that I was able to get an interview and also enter into UM.